Let's do it. All right, it is week 9 of Veg Out with Sylvia, and in this week's CSA, we have some delicious green leaf lettuce, a eggplant, some red peppers, a melon, and we have 2 zucchini. You've got some corn, some cucumbers, some green peppers. For the spicy peppers, I chose some poblanos and some tomatoes. All right. Oh, and we can't forget our lovely, yummy, delicious scallions. So, things that grow together go together. Okay? I need to redo it, Louie. And all of these yummy things are going to make a delicious gazpacho. All right, so gazpacho has some origins in Greece. And originally gazpacho was some bread, some water or some broth, some olive oil, and maybe a little bit of garlic, okay? Today, we're actually making a tomato-based gazpacho. Now, gazpacho is a cold soup, and it is pretty famous in Andalusia, Spain, which is the southwest corner of the country. And it was traditionally given to farm workers to give them some nutrients so they would have something to nourish them as they did their work. Now, if you think of it, gazpacho could be a smoothie. Why? Because the vegetables that are featured in it are fruits. Tomato is really a fruit. Cucumber is really a fruit. And the same thing with peppers. So it could be a fruit and vegetable smoothie if you think of it like that. And this is my interpretation of gazpacho. Gazpacho is like a spectrum. Some people like it perfectly smooth. Some people like it more chunky. So we're gonna go with my version today. So we have some tomatoes, some cucumbers. There's 1 garlic. This is the stems of about 2 tablespoons of cilantro. This is a jalapeno, I would say a 1/2 cup of onion, and a variety of green, red, and yellow peppers. Now, traditionally, gazpacho would be made with, not traditionally, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, with bread that is soaked in water, but I don't like to do that. And I don't really like to add water if it's already in my vegetables. So how do I extract water? Well, I have salted this, and all of that salt, as you see, has come out, right? Because salt is water loving. It takes the moisture out of things. And now I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to blend it. Okay. And I'm using a Vitamix to do that. Just so you know, that was about a cup of liquid that came out of all of those veggies. And I would say I put about a tablespoon of salt, and it has been in my refrigerator for about 2 hours or so. Okay. I'm using my blender to do this. If you don't have a blender, you can use a immersion blender, which is like a soup stick. Okay. And I'm also using cilantro stems. Cilantro is not authentic to this recipe, but I like the flavor of it. If you do not, you can use parsley and or basil, okay? Now we're gonna take that and blend it. We're gonna go slow at first. All right, so this is a nice, beautiful puree. And you could take your smoothie, add some other things to it, like some olive oil. When it comes to the olive oil, this is from Trader Joe's and it's just extra virgin olive oil. I also have olive oil from the Olive Press, which is out of California. They're both really good olive oils. For this soup, you want to add really good olive oil. I'm not using the light olive oil that I have. I'm using the really good stuff. And then that was about, I would say, maybe 3 tablespoons. And this is sherry vinegar. I'm gonna add about 2 teaspoons of this. You can add, if you don't have sherry vinegar, that's fine. You can use balsamic, you can use red wine, you can use white wine. You use what you have. Sherry is also an ingredient that is from that region. So again, it grows together, it goes together. And I'm just gonna add that back on to emulsify it. All right. And then the other part of the soup is the garnishes. So that's my beautiful puree. And I'm just going to show you how to cut up a tomato. The middle part, I'm just going to remove that. And if you wanted to remove the seeds, you can do that. I just do that with my finger. And then this is a serrated knife. It's also called a tomato knife. Okay, if you see some other seeds, but this one actually is pretty good. And then for this, you want to use your best quality tomatoes. And in the recipe for the puree, I used about, I would say 2.5 pounds of tomatoes. For the garnish, I just chopped up the cherry tomatoes that I had growing in my garden. Okay, and you see this is a perfect, it's all red throughout, all really yummy. And I remove the seeds just because I don't like them, but if you wanted them, you could keep them in. So you're gonna cut horizontally and then into sticks. And this will add to our garnish. All right. And we also got in our CSA some delicious cucumbers. But I already had some growing in my garden. So I'm just gonna take the ends off. I'm gonna peel it. And if you like seeds, you can just chop it. I don't like seeds, so I'm gonna remove them. This one doesn't have too many. You could use a spoon. Or you could use a knife. I think I prefer the knife method. All right, again, same thing. You're gonna cut horizontally. And then cut into strips. And this is just more garnish for our soup. Also in my garnish, we have my little plate. There's some tomatoes, there's some red onions. I have some assorted peppers and a little minced jalapeno because it's really hot. And I like my green herbs, so I added some scallions, some chives, some cilantro. All right. I'm gonna add all of this to my soup. Give this a mix. In Spain, they actually call this like a liquid salad, and it kind of is. Now, we're gonna travel really quick through Spain. When you're in Spain, there's beautiful sunflowers all along the countryside. So we're traveling. And then we are gonna go to the Catalan region of Spain. Now, in Catalan, they have something called pan con tomate. And they use these wonderful little cherry tomatoes. And what they do is they take some bread, okay, and they do not typically add garlic, but I like the flavor of garlic. It kind of reinforces the flavor of the garlic that's already in my soup. And because I already toasted it, the garlic kind of like sticks to the bread, all right? And then you're gonna add a little bit of salt. And again, you're gonna use really good olive oil, the best olive oil you got. Then you're gonna take your tomatoes and rub them on the bread and make pan con tomate. Okay. So I'm gonna pour myself a little bit of gazpacho. And I like the consistency of it. Didn't need any water. If you wanted to add water, you could. If you wanted to add some V8, you could. I'm not adding any black pepper because it's already spicy from the jalapeno. And I'm gonna try it. It's delicious. It does not need any more salt, okay? It is salty, it's earthy, it's tomatoey, it's got crunch, it's smooth, it's delicious. Have some gazpacho. Enjoy, have a beautiful day.